LET Review, New Curriculum, Professional Education Part 5, Actual LET Questions, 150 Items Drill. This is JM Pedagogical Vlog, Review. Disclaimer: no copyright infringement intended, for educational purposes only. Direction: you may get a piece of paper and a pen to answer. The correct answer will be revealed right after the 5-second timer. Make sure to answer all of the questions honestly, for you are the next LPT. Are you ready? Okay, let's begin. In which philosophical root of experiential learning does the essence of an idea come from the consequence of its test or practice? A. Practicalism. B. Pragmatism. C. Progressivism. D. Experimentalism. B. Pragmatism. What will happen to the mean value if all the scores in distribution will increase by 5? A. The mean value will decrease by 5 points. B. The mean remain the same. C. The mean value will increase by 1 point. D. The mean value will increase by 5 points. D. The mean value will increase by 5 points. Which of the following describe research as a logical process? A. Facts are gathered from respondents. B. Facts are empirically proven. C. Procedures can be altered. D. Procedures are valid. D. Procedures are valid. In which type of assessment focuses on the measurement of predetermined learning objectives and typically involves standardized tests and quizzes? A. Traditional assessment. B. Formative assessment. C. Authentic assessment. D. Alternative assessment. A. Traditional assessment. Developmentalists agree that as a child grows, body shape rapidly changes and proceeds in a head-downward direction and is referred to as A. Phylogenetic. B. Proximodistal. C. Microgenetic. D. Cephalocaudal. D. Cephalocaudal. What is the framework for teacher quality and teacher development mentioned in Alignment and Bases of Experiential Learning courses? A. Teaching internship. B. Experiential learning courses. C. Philippine professional standards for teachers. D. Field studies. C. Philippine professional standards for teachers. Nicole is 1 standard deviation above the mean of her group in science and 1/2 standard deviation above the mean for her group in English. What does it mean? A. She is better in English than in science. B. She is better in science than in English. C. She excels both in science and English. D. She does not excel in science and in English. B. She is better in science than in English. What is the end product of an action research? A. Better teachers. B. Better learning. C. Better practice. D. Better teaching learning. D. Better teaching learning. A teacher is reviewing the results of a standardized test administered to the entire school. What is one limitation of using only standardized tests' results to inform instructional decisions? A. They are too time-consuming to administer. B. They do not align with the curriculum. C. They do not measure individual student performance. D. They are not reliable and consistent. C. They do not measure individual student performance. Which characteristics of development best describes this? Development consists of biological, cognitive, and socio-emotional dimensions. A. Development is contextual. B. Development is plastic. C. Development is multidimensional. D. Development is lifelong. C. Development is multidimensional. Mr. Cruz uses images and language to represent and understand his various lessons to preschool learners. What stage in the cognitive theory of development explains this? A. Formal operation. B. Sensorimotor. C. Concrete operation. D. Preoperational. D. Preoperational. The primary objective of multilingual education is to prepare learners to be A. Proficient in both English and Filipino. B. Proficient in Filipino and other major dialects. C. Globally competitive. D. Proficient in Filipino and other foreign languages. C. Globally competitive. As an effective classroom manager, what should a teacher do? 1. She uses instructional time wisely. 2. She uses her power to punish students for the sake of discipline. 3. She puts to use the available and appropriate materials. 4. She manipulates colleagues and students so she can meet her goals. A1, 2, and 3. B2, 3, and 4. C1 and 3. D1, 2, 3, and 4. C1 and 3. Direct instruction is for facts, rules, and actions, as indirect instruction is for A. Guesses, data and conclusions. B. Concepts, processes and generalizations. C. Concepts, patterns and abstractions. D. Hypotheses, verified data and conclusions. B. Concepts, processes and generalizations. This philosophy emphasizes the teaching of controversial issues to prepare students for a progressive structuring of the social order. A. Reconstructionism. B. Behaviorism. C. Social experimentation. D. Progressivism. A. Reconstructionism. Miss Palma always motivates her lesson by singing songs, reciting rhymes and poems and playing games related with the new lesson. Then she solicits information from the class by letting them cite own experiences. This is an apperception. In what part of the plan do motivation and apperception fall? A. Preparation. B. Evaluation. C. Application. D. Development. C. Application. The primary objective in the regionalization of the educational system is to A. The assurance that all educational policies are implemented nationwide. B. Promote quality education at all levels and in all communities of the country. C. Take into account local needs and conditions and encourages local development planning. D. Encourage the undertaking of language research in various regions. B. Promote quality education at all levels and in all communities of the country. The impact of conflict on children, whether as victims of war or child soldiers, has been brought to world attention through media, international organizations and eyewitness accounts. What is the best thing to do to help children affected by conflict? A. Provide employment opportunities for them as well as their parents to attain financial independence. B. Employ education to regain parts of lost children and to facilitate the experiences that support healthy social, emotional and intellectual growth and development. C. Secure their safety by imposing strict curfew hours. D. Offer them to migrate in neighboring countries as foreign refugees. B. Employ education to regain parts of lost children and to facilitate the experiences that support healthy social, emotional and intellectual growth and development. Which move liberalized access to education during Spanish period? A. The provision of vocational training for school-age children. B. The hiring of tribal tutors to teach children. C. The establishment of at least one primary school for boys and girls in each municipality. D. The education of illiterate parents. C. The establishment of at least one primary school for boys and girls in each municipality. In the context of the 6 facets of understanding cited by Wiggins and McTighe, what is a proof of a student's understanding a principle? A. Applying the principle to solve a problem. B. Memorizing the principle. C. Repeating the principle given by the teacher. D. Stating the principle from memory. A. Applying the principle to solve a problem. Troy, a 5-year-old boy can hold his pen and write his name with his right hand. Which term describes Troy's action behavior? A. Maturation. B. Development. C. Learning. D. Growth. B. Development. U wants to gather ongoing feedback to monitor student progress and adjust instruction accordingly. Which assessment approach should the teacher use? A. Authentic assessment. B. Traditional assessment. C. Formative assessment. D. Alternative assessment. C. Formative assessment. Which among the following is not a contrast between action research and formal research? A. AR is concerned with a problem, FR is on larger issues. B. AR requires formal training while FR requires no training. C. AR uses standard instrument while FR does not. D. AR is less rigorous while FR is. D. AR is less rigorous while FR is. Francine's raw score in the test for English is 90, which is the 95th percentile. What does this mean? A. Francine is higher than 95% of her classmates. B. 95% of Francine's classmates got a score higher than 90. C. Francine's score is less than 95% of his classmates. D. 90% of Francine's classmates got a score lower than 95. A. Francine is higher than 95% of her classmates. Which tool should a teacher use if she wants to locate areas which are adversely affecting the performance of a significant number of students? A. Autobiography. B. Cumulative record. C. Problem checklist. D. Self-report technique. C. Problem checklist. Teacher Myra says, if it is billiard that brings students out of the classroom, let us bring it into the classroom. Perhaps, I can use it to teach math. To which philosophy does teacher Myra adheres to? A. Idealism. B. Reconstructionism. C. Essentialism. D. Progressivism. D. Progressivism. Education during this period was essentially intellectual discipline based on rational arguments. This points to A. Feudalistic education. B. Monastic education. C. Saracenic education. D. Scholastic education. D. Scholastic education. In what teaching situation can an experiment turn into a demonstration lesson? A. When children set up a control to test the variable being tested. B. When few children perform the experiment in front while others observe. C. When children perform the experiment by themselves. D. When children gather data before formulating conclusions. B. When few children perform the experiment in front while others observe. Lucio learns well through active interplay with others. His learning increases when engaged to activities that has meaning in him. Which philosophy can describe this? A. Idealism. B. Progressivism. C. Empiricism. D. Realism. B. Progressivism. All men are pretty much alike. It is only by customs that they are set apart, said one Oriental philosopher. Where can this thought be most inspiring? A. In a heterogeneous class of learners. B. In multicultural and heterogeneous groups of learners and indigenous peoples groups. C. In a multicultural group of learners. D. In a class composed of indigenous peoples. B. In multicultural and heterogeneous groups of learners and indigenous peoples groups. Which among the indicators could be most useful for assessing quality of schooling? A. Cohort survival rate. B. Participation rate. C. Dropout rate. D. Net enrollment rate. A. Cohort survival rate. Which test format is best to use if the purpose of the test is to relate inventors and their inventions? A. True or false. B. Multiple choice. C. Short answer. D. Matching type. D. Matching type. Sometimes in using grounded theory, a comprehensive review of related literature prior to the gathering of data is A. Not permitted. B. Recommended. C. Not recommended. D. None of the above. C. Not recommended. What is the primary purpose of providing timely and accurate feedback to learners and parents? A. To track attendance and participation. B. To evaluate the teacher's performance. C. To improve learning and inform progress. D. To motivate learners through praise only. C. To improve learning and inform progress. An authoritative teacher is one who does all, except A. Ensures having strong psychological control over the preschooler. B. Models to the child how to take responsibility for one's actions. C. Expects behavior appropriate to age level. D. Demonstrates high responsiveness and high demandingness. A. Ensures having strong psychological control over the preschooler. The Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers stipulates that educational institutions shall offer quality education for all Filipino citizens. How is quality education defined in RA 9155? A. Children with special needs should be mainstreamed with regular classes in the public schools. B. Relevance and excellence of education are emphasized to meet the needs and aspirations of an individual and society. C. All school-aged children should be provided free and compulsory education. D. Public and private basic education schools should provide relevant education. B. Relevance and excellence of education are emphasized to meet the needs and aspirations of an individual and society. The attention to the development of a deep respect and affection for our rich cultural past is an influence of A. Hegel. B. Teilhard de Chardin. C. Dewey. D. Confucius. D. Confucius. This philosophy is a way of viewing and thinking about life in the world so that priority is given into individualism and subjectivity. It believes that human beings are the creator of their own experiences. A. Reconstructionism. B. Idealism. C. Existentialism. D. Realism. C. Existentialism. In which of the following instructional events in the lesson plan the principle of variety would be most important? A. Presenting the stimulus material. B. Assessing the behavior. C. Providing feedback. D. Eliciting the desired behavior. C. Providing feedback. Mrs. Serna administered a sociometric test to her class. The sociogram reveals that 3 students have formed an island in the class. What is the best thing for Mrs. Serna to do? A. Introduce activities where they can join other members of the group. B. Ignore the result of the sociogram. C. Discourage them from being together in every class activity. D. Let the students be together all the time. A. Introduce activities where they can join other members of the group. Which of the following could be a reason to justify peace education as a series of teaching encounters or teaching learning process? A. Nonviolent alternatives for managing conflict. B. Skills for critical analysis of structural arrangements that produce and legitimize injustice and inequality. C. Desire for peace. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Every first day of the school year, Miss Reyes prepared activities which will make her grade 2 children sing, plan, learn and introduce themselves to the class. What process did the teacher emphasize? A. Indoctrination. B. Acculturation. C. Socialization. D. Inculturation. C. Socialization. What is an application of Vygotsky's idea of scaffolding? A. From the start, leave the learner to herself because she has the power for self-learning. B. Don't spoil the learner by doing what she ought to do. C. Give the learner the necessary assistance until she can be on her own. D. Give the learner a task that challenge her ability. C. Give the learner the necessary assistance until she can be on her own. Liza focuses her attention on the school work and vigorous play that consume most of her physical energy. Which stage of psychosexual theory illustrates her behavior? A. Latency. B. Oral. C. Phallic. D. Anal. A. Latency. Which method of providing feedback is the most effective in involving parents in the learning process? A. Scheduling monthly parent-teacher conferences. B. Proving feedback only through students. C. Sharing regular progress reports and assessments. D. Sending occasional emails with general updates. C. Sharing regular progress reports and assessments. What is the end product of an action research? A. Better research. B. Better teachers. C. Better students. D. Better teaching learning. D. Better teaching learning. St. Andrew's School gave a standardized achievement test instead of giving a teacher-made test to the graduating elementary pupils. Which could have been the reason why this was the kind of test given? A. Standardized test is valid while teacher-made test is just reliable. B. Standardized is used for mastery while teacher-made is used for survey. C. Standardized has the items of average level of difficulty while teacher-made test has varying levels of difficulty. D. Standardized uses multiple choice formal while teacher-made test uses easy test format. C. Standardized has the items of average level of difficulty while teacher-made test has varying levels of difficulty. Piagetian tasks state that thinking becomes more logical and abstract as children reach the formal operations stage. What is an educational implication of this finding? A. Learners who are not capable of logical reasoning from ages 8 to 11 lag behind in their cognitive development. B. Engage children in analogical reasoning as early as preschool to train them for HOTS. C. Let children be children. D. Expect hypothetical reasoning from learners between 12 to 15 years of age. D. Expect hypothetical reasoning from learners between 12 to 15 years of age. Which does not belong to the group of alternative learning systems? A. Graded education. B. Multi-grade grouping. C. Non-graded grouping. D. Multi-age grouping. A. Graded education. Joy listens to the advice given by her sister to end the relationship that she has with David. However, her sister learned that the advice she has given was not followed and Joy decided to continue the relationship. This action of Joy is a manifestation of what kind of philosophy? A. Perennialism. B. Essentialism. C. Humanism. D. Existentialism. D. Existentialism. To prove the truth of the concept, air has weight, Mr. Roman grouped his children into 4 groups. He gave each group a set of materials to perform some experiments which will verify the correctness and wrongness of the concept. The groups were also given activity cards where the procedures from the experiments are indicated. So all the groups performed the experiments, after which they filled up a chart to show the result of such activities. This is an illustration of A. Process approach. B. Discovery approach. C. Laboratory method. D. Demonstration method. C. Laboratory method. Which patterns of development closely parallel to the pattern for speech development? A. Intellectual and moral. B. Emotional and moral. C. Intellectual and motor. D. Emotional and motor. B. Emotional and moral. A class is composed of students coming from several ethnic communities including Muslims and Lumads. They seem to have difficulty understanding each other's behavior and points of view. What should the teacher do? A. Assign bright students to monitor and control the behavior of poor students. B. Inform students that they will all be learning new ways of thinking and behaving in this class, so they might as well leave their cultural idiosyncrasies at home. C. Introduce multiculturalism in the class and provide activities for practice. D. Threaten the students that if there are students who do not behave intolerant of their classmates, he will be dropped from class. C. Introduce multiculturalism in the class and provide activities for practice. A teacher who is a recognized expert in carpentry works, taught his students how to prepare and construct good and aesthetic furniture from local resources. What cultural transmission process is this? A. Inculturation. B. Acculturation. C. Observation. D. Indoctrination. A. Inculturation. What is the purpose of directed reading thinking activity DRTA? A. To bridge the learning of oral language and written language. B. To encourage students to think about their reading by having them make their predictions, confirm or reject them, and revise their prediction as the story unfolds. C. To increase comprehension and comprehension monitoring by predicting, generating questions, clarifying, and summarizing. D. To encourage students to model their own thinking. B. To encourage students to think about their reading by having them make their predictions, confirm or reject them, and revise their prediction as the story unfolds. A negative discrimination index means A. The test item could not discriminate between the upper and the lower group. B. More from the upper group answered the test correctly. C. The test item has low reliability. D. More from the lower group answers the test item correctly. D. More from the lower group answers the test item correctly. One of the following is not a quality of researcher. A. He must be of alert mind. B. Unison with that of which he is in search. C. His assertion to outstrip the evidence. D. Keenness in inquiry. C. His assertion to outstrip the evidence. Which of the following is a characteristic of a well-constructed multiple-choice question? A. Making the correct option significantly longer than the distractors. B. Ensuring that all options are plausible and free from grammatical errors. C. Writing questions that are intentionally misleading. D. Including only one distractor for each question. B. Ensuring that all options are plausible and free from grammatical errors. Which of the following is significant related to socio-emotional development in the child? A. Democratic. B. Liberal. C. Caring and loving. D. Autocratic. C. Caring and loving. The Early Childhood Care and Development Act provides for the promotion of the rights of children for survival and development. Which of the following statements is not among its objectives? A. Enhance the physical, social, emotional, cognitive, psychological, spiritual, and language development of young children. B. Facilitate a smooth transition from care and education provided at home to community or school-based setting in primary schools. C. Enhance the role of parents as the primary caregivers and educators of their children from birth onward. D. Assist the LGUs in their endeavor to prepare the child for adulthood. D. Assist the LGUs in their endeavor to prepare the child for adulthood. From whom do we owe the theory of deductive inference as illustrated in syllogisms? A. Pythagoras. B. Aristotle. C. Plato. D. Socrates. B. Aristotle. In the social science class of Mr. Kim's students identify the various social and economic problems that require urgent solutions. They not only discussed the ways to address it but also agreed to participate in solving them. What kind of philosophy does this class uphold? A. Naturalism. B. Behaviorism. C. Reconstructivism. D. Essentialism. C. Reconstructivism. Which of the following principles motivation is applied by a teacher who uses specified comments such as, excellent, keep it up, try to do still better, you can do it, and, you can raise this grade? A. Attending a learning task is essential in initiating a learning sequence. B. Acquiring information concerning appropriate behaviors is associated with better performance. C. Attending to achieve success is essential to realistic goal setting. D. Setting goals requires learning tasks at an appropriate difficulty level. A. Attending a learning task is essential in initiating a learning sequence. A teacher or student is held responsible for his actions because he or she A. Has reason. B. Is mature. C. Has a choice. D. Instincts. C. Has a choice. Which of the following skills corresponds to the fourth pillar of learning, learning to live together? A. Empathy and cooperative social behavior. B. Reasoning and problem-solving skills. C. Adaptability to change in the world of work. D. Personal commitment and sense of responsibility. A. Empathy and cooperative social behavior. In order to make Roman education truly utilitarian, how should the day-to-day lessons be taught? A. Practiced at home under the guidance of their respective parents. B. Taught in the student's native dialect. C. Related and linked to the events happening in everyday life. D. Taught interestingly through the play-way method. C. Related and linked to the events happening in everyday life. Which of the following indicates a strong negative correlation? A. Negative 0.10. B. Negative 0.25. C. Negative 0.75. D. Negative 0.15. C. Negative 0.75. Which of the following is not a developmental principle? A. Development follows an orderly, predictable sequence. B. Social expectations mark every developmental period. C. Early development is more critical than later development. D. Numerous studies have revealed how individuals develop. D. Numerous studies have revealed how individuals develop. A teacher wants to determine the consistency of a test scores over time. Which reliability coefficient is most appropriate for this purpose? A. Cohen's kappa. B. Cronbach's alpha. C. Spearman-Brown prophecy formula. D. Pearson correlation. B. Cronbach's alpha. The depth of any research can be judged by A. Total expenditure on the research. B. Objective of the research. C. Duration of the research. D. Title of the research. B. Objective of the research. Teacher Anastasia does norm-referenced interpretation of scores. Which of the following does she do? A. She describes group performance in relation to a level of master set. B. She uses specified content as its frame of reference. C. She describes what their performance should be. D. She compares every individual student's scores with the other scores. D. She compares every individual student's scores with the other scores. Which tool should a teacher use if she wants to locate areas which are adversely affecting the performance of a significant number of students? A. Autobiography. B. Problem checklist. C. Cumulative record. D. Self-report technique. B. Problem checklist. Each teacher is said to be a trustee of the cultural and educational heritage of the nation and is, under obligation to transmit to learners such heritage. Which practice makes him fulfill such an obligation? A. Observe continuing professional education. B. Use the latest instructional technology. C. Study the life of Filipino heroes. D. Use interactive teaching strategies. C. Study the life of Filipino heroes. Socrates is to idealism, as Dewey is to A. Progressivism. B. Essentialism. C. Naturalism. D. Existentialism. A. Progressivism. Miss Gonzalez, a newly appointed teacher, was assigned to teach science in the intermediate grades for which she has very little background. As a result, she has been experiencing considerable anxiety both because she is new and because she lacks confidence in the subject where she was assigned. After spending considerable time in planning, she discovered that the use of transparencies will keep the flow of her discussion going. What planning function manifests itself in this teaching situation? A. Planning reduces expenditures of time and effort. B. Planning considers the relevance and congruence of contents with objectives. C. Planning personalizes the curriculum. D. Planning serves as means or organizing instruction. D. Planning serves as means or organizing instruction. Which is a true foundation of the social order? A. Strong political leadership. B. The reciprocation of rights and duties. C. Equitable distribution of wealth. D. Obedient citizenry. B. The reciprocation of rights and duties. Which of the following is not a guiding statement of peace education? A. Peace education employs holistic and participatory approach. B. Peace builds bridges of support among key participants. C. Peace education teaches students what to think rather than how to think. D. Peace education aims not to reproduce but transform. C. Peace education teaches students what to think rather than how to think. Which program in the educational system seems to be aligned to the Christian humanitarian principle respect for the human personality? A. The study of the Philippine Constitution. B. The promotion of the basic human rights of the Filipino. C. The functional literacy program for the out-of-school youth and adults. D. The alternative learning system delivery. B. The promotion of the basic human rights of the Filipino. The teacher performance results provide continual, blank, to professional development. A. Guidance. B. Assessment. C. Support. D. Feedback. D. Feedback. The level of job satisfaction is assumed to be affected by years of service. This level of job satisfaction is called A. Numerical variable. B. Intervening variable. C. Independent variable. D. Dependent variable. D. Dependent variable. A teacher wants to use formative assessment results to improve instruction. What is the primary purpose of formative assessment? A. Measure the overall effectiveness of a teacher's method. B. Assign grades for the students' report cards. C. Provide feedback to guide and adjust instruction. D. Summarize students' learning at the end of a unit. C. Provide feedback to guide and adjust instruction. Along Erickson's psychological theory, what is displayed by the child in saying, "I do things without worrying them"? A. Obedience. B. Discipline. C. Endurance. D. Autonomy. D. Autonomy. Which of the following is correct about standard deviation? A. It is a measure of central tendency. B. The larger the SD, the less dispersed the scores are. C. The larger the SD, the more dispersed the scores are. D. The smaller the SD, the more dispersed the scores are. C. The larger the SD, the more dispersed the scores are. Which is not a characteristic of an analytic learner? A. Enjoys memorizing. B. Learns whole to part. C. Sequences objects in order. D. Works on details. B. Learns whole to part. Studies in the areas of neuroscience disclosed that the human brain has limitless capacity. What does this imply? A. Pupils can possibly reach a point where they have learned everything. B. Some pupils are admittedly not capable of learning. C. Every pupil has his own native ability and his learning is limited to this native ability. D. Every child is a potential genius. D. Every child is a potential genius. What philosophy posits that a social teacher is a revered person, central to the educative process and therefore must be excellent mentally and morally in personally conduct and conviction? A. Realism. B. Idealism. C. Essentialism. D. Progressivism. B. Idealism. To make of the consequences of having a big family, the Arling Panlipunan teacher asked her students to present some situations common in the home of big and small families by group. She gave the students 10 minutes to think and organize before they act out the situations. What technique is used by the teacher? A. Pageant. B. Dramatization. C. Sociodrama. D. Role-playing. D. Role-playing. Teacher Francisco is newly converted to a religion. Deeply convinced of his newfound religion, he starts Monday classes by attacking one religion and convinces his pupils to attend their religious services on Sundays. Is this in accordance with the code of ethics of professional teachers? A. Yes. What he does strengthens values education. B. Yes. In the name of academic freedom, a teacher can decide what to teach. C. No. A teacher should not use his position to proselyte others. D. Yes. What he does is values education. C. No. A teacher should not use his position to proselyte others. Which among the following rights manifests rule of law and good governance? A. Right to work. B. Right to environment protection. C. Right to education. D. Right of participation. A. Right to work. Which one does not illustrate the principle that rights and duties are correlative? A. The right to a living wage involves the duty of the school administrators to give the salary agreed upon and the duty of the teachers to give a fair amount of work. B. The right of an unmarried pregnant teacher to abort her baby in relation to her duty to protect her name and her job as a teacher. C. The right of a state to compel students to military service is reciprocated by the duty of the state to protect them. D. The right to the life of children and to be given respect for such rights. B. The right of an unmarried pregnant teacher to abort her baby in relation to her duty to protect her name and her job as a teacher. You want your students to develop the ability to look at a problem from various perspectives. Which approach will be more fit? A. Integrative approach. B. Affective approach. C. Modular approach. D. Behaviorist approach. A. Integrative approach. Teacher Benjamin gave a 40-item test to his students, where the mean performance of the class is 35, which the standard deviation of 2.5. James got a score of 38. What description rating should Teacher Benjamin give to James? A. Below average. B. Average. C. Above average. D. Outstanding. C. Above average. Which of the following can be identified as inherent in nature or the influence or biological forces in a child? A. Loyalty to the school. B. Parental respect. C. Color of the skin. D. Obedience to rules. C. Color of the skin. Which type of assessment is conducted at the end of a unit or course to evaluate a student's overall performance and understanding? A. Performance assessment. B. Diagnostic assessment. C. Summative assessment. D. Formative assessment. C. Summative assessment. Books and records are primary sources of data in A. Clinical research. B. Participatory research. C. Laboratory research. D. Historical research. D. Historical research. Visual imagery helps people store information in their memory more effectively. Which is one teaching implication of this principle? A. Instruct students to take notes while you lecture. B. Encourage your students to imagine the characters and situations when reading a story. C. Tell them to read more illustrated comics. D. You will not object when your students daydream in class. B. Encourage your students to imagine the characters and situations when reading a story. The principle of individual differences requires teachers to A. Prepare modules for slow learners in class. B. Treat all learners alike while in the classroom. C. Give greater attention to gifted learners. D. Provide for a variety of learning activities. D. Provide for a variety of learning activities. This theory views education as a recurring process based on eternal truths. Thus, the school's curriculum should emphasize the recurrent themes of human life. A. Naturalism. B. Perennialism. C. Progressivism. D. Pragmatism. B. Perennialism. All these objectives are general. Which one is specific? A. To acquire proficiency in typewriting. B. To describe the process of evaporation and condensation. C. To develop a lasting love for poetry. D. To understand the plot development in scenes 1 and 2. B. To describe the process of evaporation and condensation. History books used in schools are replete with events portraying defeats and weaknesses of the Filipino as a people. How should you tackle them in the classroom? A. Present them and blame those people responsible or those who have contributed. B. Present them as they are presented, and tell the class to accept reality. C. Present facts and use them as means in inspiring your class to learn from them. D. Present them and express your feelings of shame. C. Present facts and use them as means in inspiring your class to learn from them. Which of the following qualities should be developed by the pillar, learning to live together? A. Complete fulfillment of humans, in all the richness of his/her personality. B. Strong appreciation of the diversity of the human race. C. Readiness to take risks and resolve or manage conflicts. D. Scientific spirit and an inquiring mind. B. Strong appreciation of the diversity of the human race. A teacher who subscribes to the pragmatic philosophy of education believes that experienced study should follow learning in her teaching. Which of the following does she do to support her belief? A. Providing learners opportunities to apply theories and principles. B. Equipping learners with the basic abilities and skills. C. Requiring learners full master of the lesson. D. Encouraging learners to memorize factual knowledge. A. Providing learners opportunities to apply theories and principles. To what extent were the objectives of the course met? This is the concern of the process of blank evaluation. A. Formative. B. Norm referenced. C. Criterion referenced. D. Authentic. C. Criterion referenced. The first step of research is A. Searching a problem. B. Finding a problem. C. Selecting a problem. D. Identifying a problem. D. Identifying a problem. Which is claimed to be the overall advantage of criterion-referenced interpretation? A. An individual's score is compared with the average score. B. An individual's score does not need to be compared with any measure. C. An individual's score is compared with the set mastery level. D. An individual's score is compared with that set of his peers. C. An individual's score is compared with the set mastery level. On the life perspective of development, which relates to the fact that we don't stop growing once we reach adulthood. A. Development involves changes. B. Development is lifelong. C. Development is multidimensional. D. Development involves plasticity. B. Development is lifelong. Which is an example of a process assessment? A. A project where students create a business plan in teams. B. A multiple-choice quiz on the historical events of the American Revolution. C. An individual essay about the importance of environmental conservation. D. A final exam covering the entire semester's content. A. A project where students create a business plan in teams. Student Anastasia is 1/2 standard deviation above the mean of her group in arithmetic and 1 standard deviation above in spelling. What does this imply? A. She excels both in spelling and arithmetic. B. She is better at spelling than in arithmetic. C. She does not excel in spelling nor in arithmetic. D. She is better in arithmetic than in spelling. B. She is better at spelling than in arithmetic. Which of the following schools' practices is not based on social reconstructionism? A. Promoting Project WOW. B. Promoting culture and arts in schools. C. Exemption of scouts from CAT. D. Establishment of SDF. B. Promoting culture and arts in schools. Which of the following is not true about the 4 pillars of learning? A. The pillars of learning imply a shift from schooling to learning throughout life by learning how to learn. B. The pillars of learning stress the goal of contributing to social cohesion, intercultural and international understanding, peaceful interchange, and harmony. C. The pillars of learning adheres to the instrumental and purely academic view of education that focuses on the achievement of specific aims of education such as economic productivity. D. The pillars of learning stress the importance of closer linkage between education and the world of work. C. The pillars of learning adheres to the instrumental and purely academic view of education that focuses on the achievement of specific aims of education such as economic productivity. Rights and duties are correlative. This means that A. Rights and duties ultimately come from God. B. Each right carries with it one or several corresponding duties. C. Rights and duties regulate the relationship of men in society. D. Rights and duties arise from natural law. B. Each right carries with it one or several corresponding duties. A part of Miss Medina's planning in consumers mathematics is displaying a can of diet soft drink, box of milk, 1 pound package of spaghetti, and box of cereal for the unit in ratio, proportion and percentage. What could be the teacher's purpose for this particular planning task in science? A. Present stimulus material. B. Gain attention. C. Stimulate recall of prerequisites. D. Elicit desired behavior. A. Present stimulus material. It is belief that when an idea agrees with its object, it is proof of its truth. However, it is definition of truth not criteria. A. Behaviorist. B. Idealist. C. Naturalism. D. Naive realism. D. Naive realism. Which is a major advantage of a curriculum-based assessment? A. It connects testing with teaching. B. It tends to focus on anecdotal information on student progress. C. It is based on a norm-referenced measurement model. D. It is informal in nature. C. It is based on a norm-referenced measurement model. Which of the following statements best describes metacognition as a strategy for curriculum augmentation? A. It is learning how to learn and thinking about how one thinks. B. It is learning through interaction with the environment. C. It is learning through computer-aided instruction. D. It is learning strategies for success. A. It is learning how to learn and thinking about how one thinks. Who among the teachers below performs a formative assessment? A. Mrs. Alvarez, who administered a readiness test to the incoming grade 1 pupils. B. Miss Ba, who asked questions when the discussion was going on to know who among the students understood what she was trying to stress. C. Mrs. Pilar, who gave a 10-item test to find out the specific lessons which the students failed to understand. D. Mr. Corpus, who gave a short quiz after the discussion thoroughly the lesson to determine the outcome of the instruction. B. Miss Ba, who asked questions when the discussion was going on to know who among the students understood what she was trying to stress. Which of the following should be a criterion for a good research study? A. Develops the skills in accruing and spending the allotted budget for the research. B. Shows the abilities of the researcher to manipulate data. C. Is dependent on the completion of the study. D. Demonstrates the integration of the different fields of knowledge. D. Demonstrates the integration of the different fields of knowledge. In which cognitive developmental stage if a child is unable to distinguish between his own perspective and someone else's? A. Formal operational stage. B. Sensory motor stage. C. Pre-operational stage. D. Concrete operational stage. C. Pre-operational stage. Which of the following characteristics should constructive feedback possess? A. To motivate learners through praise only. B. To track attendance and participation. C. To evaluate the teacher's performance. D. To improve learning and inform progress. D. To improve learning and inform progress. Which appropriate teaching practice flows from this research finding on the brain? The brain's emotional center is tied into its ability to learn. A. Tell students to participate in class activities or else won't receive plus points in class recitation. B. Come up with highly competitive games where winners will feel happy. C. Create a learning environment that encourages students to explore their feelings and ideas freely. D. To establish discipline, be judgmental in attitude. C. Create a learning environment that encourages students to explore their feelings and ideas freely. Which is a form of direct instruction? A. Programmed instruction. B. Discovery process. C. Inductive reasoning. D. Problem solving. A. Programmed instruction. Mary Joy is an advocate of the principle, making the most of your life. Live life to the fullest. She is indeed an advocate of what kind of philosophy? A. Existentialism. B. Idealism. C. Realism. D. Humanism. D. Humanism. During her planning, Mrs. Geronimo always provides for the development of all essential knowledge and understanding, intellectual, manipulative skills and attitudes. What principle is reflected in her action? A. Principle of need-oriented. B. Principle of balance. C. Principle of unity. D. Principle of organization. B. Principle of balance. Long before the start of every school year, Teacher Faith has already started developing her own comprehensive plan based on the recommended curriculum. Which explains the best Teacher Faith's action in relation to the curriculum? A. Planning personalizes the curriculum, making it her own. B. Planning is entirely dependent on the approved curriculum. C. Planning screened possible differences between the curriculum plan and the implementation process. D. None of these. D. None of these. Which of the following is not a characteristic of multicultural education? A. Socially transformative. B. Pedagogically humanistic. C. Personality empowering. D. Culturally discriminating. D. Culturally discriminating. Homeroom advisors always emphasize the importance of cleanliness of the body. Children are taught how to wash their hands before and after eating. What is this practice called? A. Mores. B. Folkway. C. Social norm. D. Laws. C. Social norm. Which of these statements reflects best active learning? A. I have found that one key to student development is providing criteria for performance. B. I became interested in the school, I feel it is my school now. C. I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. D. I need more support, a network from which I could learn. C. I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. When interpreting assessment results, which of the following is the most important consideration? A. Teachers' teaching methods. B. Classroom average score. C. Assessment difficulty level. D. Individual student performance. D. Individual student performance. Which parenting style contributes to the development of children with low level of parenting style? A. Neglecting. B. Democratic. C. Permissive. D. Authoritarian. C. Permissive. This is an approach in research that utilizes narratives, phenomenon and ethnographic data. A. Qualitative. B. Correlational. C. Quantitative. D. Descriptive comparative. A. Qualitative. Classify the type of test that is administered by the Professional Regulation Commission aimed at measuring the proficiency of teachers in developing a set of instructional skills or methodologies. The examination is given twice a year nationwide. A. Criterion referenced. B. Norm referenced. C. Professional. D. Performance test. A. Criterion referenced. Which test item is in the highest level of Bloom's taxonomy of objectives? A. Rate 3 different methods of controlling tree growth. B. Write a paragraph that observes coherence, unity, and variety. C. Explain how a tree functions in relation to the ecosystem. D. Explain how trees receive nutrients. B. Write a paragraph that observes coherence, unity, and variety. Which test has broad sampling of topics as strength? A. Short answer test. B. Problem type. C. Objective test. D. Essay test. D. Essay test. Teacher Alonso class is engaged in problem-solving activity which in a way is a reflection of personal and social experiences. The purpose of this activity is for the students to acquire the skills that can help them in solving their own real-life problems. What philosophy can best describe this? A. Existentialism. B. Realism. C. Progressivism. D. Idealism. C. Progressivism. Mrs. Laxon is excited about trying out cooperative learning. Which should be her primary consideration? A. Homogeneously grouped. B. Interdependence of students in performing learning should be stressed. C. At least 10 members in a group. D. Permanent roles for everyone in the group activity. B. Interdependence of students in performing learning should be stressed. Valerie's parents oftentimes complains about her low grades in the report card. Despite the explanations of her teachers, Mr. and Mrs. Carino insists that Valerie deserves higher ratings. What is the proper thing for her teacher to do? A. Request the principal to talk with Valerie's parents. B. Ignore Valerie's parents. They would not listen to explanations anyway. C. Change Valerie's grade to please her parents. D. Show to the parents the actual computation of Valerie's grade. D. Show to the parents the actual computation of Valerie's grade. If the teacher is emphasizing the development of the learner's competency to transform knowledge into innovations and job creation, what pillar of education does he is actually promoting? A. Learning to live together. B. Learning to be. C. Learning to do. D. Learning to know. C. Learning to do. Which of the following is the aim of our education during the Commonwealth period? A. Purely nationalistic and democratic. B. Designed after Japanese education. C. Predominantly religious. D. Patterned after the American curriculum. A. Purely nationalistic and democratic. It is sound to encourage students to define terms in their own words because A. Students remember information better when they mentally process it in some way. B. Defining the terms in their own words helps them memorize the definition faster. C. They ought to connect the terms that they learn. D. This is one opportunity to brush up with their English. A. Students remember information better when they mentally process it in some way. An assessment that requires students to perform real-world tasks or demonstrates their understanding in a meaningful context is known as A. Summative assessment. B. Alternative assessment. C. Traditional assessment. D. Authentic assessment. D. Authentic assessment. Action research is A. Progressive. B. Cyclical. C. Static. D. Linear. B. Cyclical. Teacher Tanya banged the door when she entered the classroom while the pupils waited nervously to greet her. She was tense and so were the pupils. Later, she tried to encourage them to participate but the children remained quiet in their seats. Which can be explained by the situation? A. The teacher's verbal and non-verbal messages are contradictory. B. The teacher's verbal communication has not been interpreted correctly by the pupils. C. The impact of the verbal and non-verbal messages of the teacher are the same. D. The pupil's perception of the teacher's non-verbal behavior did not change. A. The teacher's verbal and non-verbal messages are contradictory. Which is not correct about the median? A. It is appropriate when there are extreme scores. B. It is appropriate when the scores are symmetrical. C. It is a measure of central tendency. D. It is equal to the second quartile. B. It is appropriate when the scores are symmetrical. In the second item analysis, Teacher Hazel found out that more from the lower group got the test item number 6 correctly. This means that the test item A has a lower validity, B has a negative discriminating power, C has a high reliability, D has a positive discriminating power. A has a lower validity. Miss Rivera is busy developing a cluster of concepts on matter. She notices Dave busily making several paper airplanes. Which of the following is the best way of handling Dave's misbehavior? A. Stop the less. Tell the class to look at Dave and observe what he is doing. Let them comment on what they observe. B. Call Dave to bring all the paper airplanes and ask him to discuss the importance of airplanes in the modern age. C. Continue teaching but make your way to Dave. Without a word, place a ready note card. It seems you are disturbing the class. Please stop right now. Return card after class. D. Ask difficult questions and call Dave to answer them in succession. B. Call Dave to bring all the paper airplanes and ask him to discuss the importance of airplanes in the modern age. Miss Halma, an English teacher, taught her children how to make use of the dictionary. She tried to illustrate how to use this, because she knows they can apply dictionary skills in all subjects. What type of lesson is being illustrated by Miss Halma? A. Appreciation. B. Supervised study. C. Examination. D. Review. B. Supervised study. Which questioning practice promotes more class interaction? A. Focusing on convergent questions. B. Asking the question before calling on a student. C. Focusing on divergent question. D. Asking rhetorical questions. C. Focusing on divergent question. If you want your students to develop reading comprehension and learning strategies, which one should you employ? A. Reciprocal teaching. B. Cooperative learning. C. Mastery learning. D. Peer tutoring. A. Reciprocal teaching. How many correct answers did you get from this drill? Comment it down below. I hope you got a passing score of 113 and above. If not, don't give up, you're almost there. You did your part. Try it again. If you try more, you will master it. Good luck, LPT cutie. Claim it. Thank you for your willingness and participation. See you in the next drills. The next video will appear on screen and click it to watch.